Hi, I'm Rebecca Kanopka, Carter County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources, and welcome to today's edition of Around the Farm. All of our deciduous trees have lost their leaves, leaving our evergreens bright and green in our forest settings. And sometimes evergreens can be a bit daunting to try to identify, but they're really not that hard if we take just a few moments and look at their needles. Behind me are two of our native pine trees, the pitch pine and the Virginia pine. So pines are really easy to identify if we look at how the needles attach on the tree, and they attach in bundles. And so if we look at our pitch pine here, we can pull off one bundle of needles and notice that there are 3 needles in this bundle. So pitch pines have needles in bundles of 3 that are anywhere from 1.5 inches to 5 inches long. Our Virginia pine here has needles in bundles of 2 that are twisted. So if we pull those off, you can see that the needles are shorter and that they are twisted together in a V. And so remember V for Virginia, and that will help you identify that a Virginia pine has 2 needles per bundle. Also in Kentucky, we have white pines, which have a bluish greenish tinge on top and then a whitish surface underneath. And they come in bundles of 5. And if you think about the word white, has 5 letters, 5 needles. So that's how you can remember white pine. We also have shortleaf and loblolly pines here in Kentucky. Shortleaf pines have needles in bundles of 3 to 5 that are also 3 to 5 inches long. Our loblolly pines have needles that are 5 to 10 inches long and are in bundles of 2 to 3. Our next tree is the eastern hemlock. And unlike our pines that have needles in bundles, the needles on a hemlock are flat and have white striping on the back side of them. Like other members of the evergreens and conifers, hemlocks of course have cones which are a lot smaller than our typical pine cones. Our hemlocks in the eastern U.S. and across Kentucky have been attacked lately by the invasive species Hemlock woolly adelgid, which our easiest evergreen tree to identify is the American holly. It has more of a typical leaf shape, even though it's thick, like our typical evergreens, and it's very sharp and pointy on the edges. Hollies are popular Christmas decorations because of their bright red berries that appear in the fall, but only female trees have the berries. Our next evergreen tree to talk about is the eastern red cedar. Red cedars have scale-like leaves, and the juvenile growth is very spiky compared to the older growth. You may be familiar with red cedar's distinctive red color in the wood. It also has a very pleasing odor, and the heartwood is resistant to rot, so red cedars are often used as fence posts. You'll notice the bark has a very shreddy-like texture to it. The previous trees that we've talked about have all been native to Kentucky and are easily found in our wooded locations. The next 2 trees are not native to Kentucky, but can be found in landscapes or purchased for Christmas trees. And those are spruces and firs. And you see a spruce tree here. Spruce needles are sharply pointed, square, and easy to roll between your fingers. Fir needles, on the other hand, are softer, flat, and cannot be rolled between your fingers. So remember, square for spruce and flat for fir. Spruce needles are attached to small, stalk-like woody projections. When needles are shed, these projections remain. As a result, the branches of spruce trees feel rough. Fir branches lack these projections and have smooth bark. As always, feel free to contact your local county extension office with any questions.